they decided to build a temple where these two brothers met on that night. They looked at each other and suddenly they were so embarrassed of their own generosity, they looked the other way and continued their job. They thought this is the best place to build a temple. They did not build it. A huge mountain of a rock, they carved the temple into it. 3 floors, all carved out. They must have removed hundreds of tons of stone, probably thousands of tons of stone, because all the empty space that you see in the temple has been carved out.
The early Hindu temple construction within the cave was centered around the Vale Ganga, a natural waterfall seamlessly integrated into the monument. This waterfall is visible from a rock-carved balcony to the south and is often described as falling over Great Shiva's brow.
What is a temple? Let's understand this. Generally, when we utter the word temple, immediately people are thinking of a which religion? Now, if temple belongs to you or me or to a particular group, you cannot call it a temple. Temple is an invitation to the divine. If we can set up a space and the necessary tools where divine is more manifest, not that it is not there everywhere, it's just that more experienceable. There's sound waves everywhere, but you cannot hear it. You need a cell phone to catch the transmission, otherwise you can't catch it. So we can say a temple is a larger cell phone. You can't talk, just to listen, one-way cell phone, is that okay? I always set up the temple in such a way that you can't yap. Is that okay? Or you want to talk? If you want to listen to a dimension beyond, if you want to be receptive to that possibility, we can create a space like that. We can create a device or a tool like that. When I use the word tool, there seems to be a certain sense of lack of reverence in me. But I particularly use the word tool. When I refer to the Dhyana Linga as a tool, people feel offended. Sadhguru, don't say that. In our experience, it's everything. Don't call it a tool. I say it's a tool. Because the word tool means that which works. It is not a piece of art that you can just appreciate. It's a tool because it works. There's just one screw in the door, if I ask you to unscrew it with your hands, can you do it? But if I give you a screwdriver, you can do that, isn't it? Similarly, to open the doors for the beyond, there is a tool. With your own hands, if you try to unscrew that simple screw in the door, all your 10 nails will go, but still it'll not come. Yes? You can try with your teeth. You know, people do. When they have no tools, they'll try their hands, if it doesn't work, don't you do? You may lose your teeth, still it may not come. But if you had a simple tool, how easily you could do it. So this is a tool to open the doors of the beyond. And I don't think a tool is irreverential, nor do I think a tool is insulting. A tool is a tremendous possibility, isn't it? The significant development in human society has happened only when we started making tools, isn't it? No? Why is it offensive if I say a temple is a tool? A temple is a tool. There are different ways of using different tools. For this tool, you have to be in a certain mode. Because this is not a physical tool, you have to approach it in a certain way. So that certain way may also include a certain level of reverence because that attitude is needed to be able to use the tool. So it's very important that it is understood and used as a tool, not as a destination, but just as a possibility. The temple is not a destination. A temple is only a doorway. A doorway is not a destination. A doorway is just a doorway, opens up something. So what does it take to build a temple? Of course, we need some stone and many other material. But what does it take within a human being to build a temple? Why I'm telling you all this is I'm trying to discourage you. A temple will not happen unless at least a band of people, at least a handful of people hold it above their own life, not as a part of their life, not as a side thing that they do in their life. Temple building is not a hobby or a profession. You have to see it as something beyond your life, more important than your life. You must understand, at least in the East, in India, temples were built so elaborately, some of the temples took 3 to 4 generations to complete.
Oh.
For example, the Kailasa temple in Ajanta, Ellora, in the Ajanta area in Maharashtra, there are many in Tamil Nadu. This temple was carved out of the rock. They did not build it. A huge mountain of a rock, they carved the temple into it. 3 floors, all carved out. They must have removed hundreds of tons of stone, probably thousands of tons of stone, because all the empty space that you see in the temple has been carved out. And they made 3 stories, elaborate, decorations, and there are at least about 600 statues, all carved out. If you make one mistake, you have to rebuild the whole temple. Yes, because it's not built, it's not something you can take it off and put something. It is carved into the rock. It took 135 years, at least 4 generations of people working to the same plan. Three to 4 generations of people working to the same plan for 135 years to complete the temple. And nowhere their names are written. Such phenomenal work. Many of them must have started working at 14, 15 years of age and they would have died there, okay, doing the work. But nobody's name is written. Architect's name is not written. The kings who sponsored the temple, their names are not written. That's a temple, understand? It's not a place for us to leave a footprint of who we are. A very beautiful story. There was an old man. He had 2 sons. Father and 2 sons worked hard, built a big farm, they became prosperous. Then for the old man, time to die came. When he was going away, he told his 2 sons, whatever comes out of this land, both of you should share equally, and you must always keep it up. At no point there should be any dispute between the 2 of you. They agreed in front of their father and they kept to it. I'm saying, not dividing the land. Dividing the land has come only in the last 4 to 5 generations in India, maybe 3 to 4 generations. Before that, there was no such thing as, this is my land, this is your land. Only the produce was divided, never the land. So conceptually, it was not there in people's minds that you can actually divide the land. So he said, you must divide the produce equally. And they stuck to it. After some time, one of the brothers got married. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 children he had. The other one never got married. So he was alone. But still the crop was shared 50-50. Because those are the father's words, you can't change it, that's his wish. So the brother who was married and had 5 children, one day a worm entered into his mind. You know, sometimes worms get into your mind. A worm entered his mind, and then a thought arose, and he thought, I have a wife and 5 children, I get 50%. My brother is alone by himself and he gets 50%. When I grow old, my sons will grow up, 5 of them. They will tame more land, we will become more prosperous and we will have much more. But my brother is alone. When he gets old, he will have only 50% of what we have now. This is not fair. But he is so proud, if I try to give him little more, he will not take it. If I try to share my produce from the new lands that my sons have broken, he will not take it. Only from the father's land he will take 50%. So what to do? So in the night, when everybody is asleep, he carries a bag of grain and takes it and puts it into his brother's store. So that unknowingly, he's donating to his brother. The other brother, who was alone, thought, my brother has a wife and 5 children, he needs more. I'm just alone, what will I do with all this? But if I try to offer anything, he will not take. So he started carrying grains and dropping it into his brother's store. Reverse osmosis was happening. And nobody knew. In the night, quietly, once in a way, this brother puts one bag, that brother puts another bag. This went on. They became old. One day, 2 old men were carrying sacks of grain in the night, and they came and they faced each other. Both of them realized what's been happening. But they looked away and continued their journey, put the sacks and went back. Then they died after some time. The townsfolk were wanting to build a temple. They were looking for a site, they went to many places. After much looking, they decided to build a temple where these 2 brothers met on that night. They looked at each other and suddenly they were so embarrassed of their own generosity, they looked the other way and continued their job. They thought this is the best place to build a temple. Because that's what a temple means, that looking beyond yourself. If that is not there, there is no temple.
The Ellora caves, situated in the Aurangabad district of Maharashtra, India, constitute a diverse rock-cut cave complex featuring inscriptions from the 6th century CE onward. Referred to as the Viral Caves, this archaeological site comprises over 100 caves carved into basalt cliffs of the Charanandri Hills, with 64 caves accessible to the public. These caves are categorized into 17 Hindu from 13 to 29, 12 Buddhist caves from 1 to 12, and 5 Jain caves from 30 to 34, each dedicated to deities, mythologies and monasteries associated with their respective religions in the first millennium CE. The close proximity of these diverse religious structures serves as a testament to the religious harmony prevalent in ancient India. Recognized for this exceptional ancient Indian architecture, the Ellora caves earned a place on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1983. All the monuments at Ellora were constructed during the Satavahana period, a time associated with the Vedic dynasty. Subsequently, the Buddhist and Jain caves were added to this historical site, while originally serving as temples and resting places for pilgrims. The location's position along an ancient South Asian trade route also elevated Ellora into a significant commercial center in the Deccan region. Situated 29 kilometers northwest of Aurangabad, Ellora caves, in conjunction with the nearby Ajanta caves, have become a prominent tourist attraction in the Marathwada region of Maharashtra. The Hindu monuments at Ellora, specifically caves 13 to 29, showcase intricate carvings and sculptures. This series of caves was built during the Kalachuri period, spanning from the mid 6th century to the late 8th century, in two distinct phases. The initial phase involved the excavation of 9 cave temples in the early 6th century, followed by an additional 4 caves 17 to 29. And Cave 16, recognized as the world's largest monolith, was the final one completed among the three. The completion of these caves in the 8th century was made possible with the support of the king Krishna I. The Hindu caves at Ellora stand as remarkable examples of ancient Indian artistry and religious architecture. The construction of early Hindu temples at Ellora, exemplified by Cave 29, Dumarlena, predates the development of any Buddhist or Jain caves. These initial caves were predominantly dedicated to the Hindu deity Shiva, although the intricate iconography indicates that the artisans accorded significant and equal reverence to other gods and goddesses within Hinduism. A distinctive feature of these cave temples, presence of a rock-cut linga yoni at the core of the shrine, each surrounded by a space for circumambulation, also called parikrama. Dumarlena represents one of the earliest excavation at Ellora and stands among the largest. The early Hindu temple construction within the cave was centered around the Vale Ganga, a natural waterfall seamlessly integrated into the monument. This waterfall is visible from a rock-carved balcony to the south and is often described as falling over great Shiva's brow, particularly striking during the monsoon season. The carvings within this cave are larger than life size. However, as noted by author Dhavalikar, they exhibit a distinctive style characterized by corpulent, stumpy figures with disproportionate limbs compared to those in other Ellora caves. Cave 21, known as Rameshwar Lena, stands as another early excavation at Ellora, and its construction is attributed to the Kalachuri dynasty, completed before the rise of Rashtrakuta dynasty, which later expanded the caves at Ellora. Cave 21 showcases both common themes found in other Ellora caves and unique artistic elements. Distinctive carvings within the cave narrate the story of goddess Parvati's pursuit of Shiva. Among the depictions are scenes of Parvati and Shiva at leisure, Parvati's wedding to Shiva, Shiva dancing, and Kartikeya. Additionally, the cave features an extensive presentation of the Saptamatrika, the 7 mother goddesses of the Shakti tradition in Hinduism. Flanked by Ganesha and Shiva, these representations are complemented by the inclusion of other goddesses significant to the Shakti tradition, such as Durga. At the entrance of Cave 21, large sculptures of goddesses Ganga and Yamuna, symbolizing the 2 major Himalayan rivers, flank the doorway, emphasizing their cultural importance in Indian tradition. The cave's artistic richness and diverse themes contribute to its significance within the Ellora complex. Cave 16, renowned as the Kailasa temple, stands out as an extraordinary cave temple in India due to its remarkable size, architecture, and the unique feat of being entirely carved out of a single rock. Dedicated to Shiva and inspired by Mount Kailasa, the Kailasa temple follows the architectural pattern of Hindu temples, featuring a gateway, an assembly hall, a multi-story main temple surrounded by numerous shrines arranged according to the square principle, an integrated space for circumambulation, housing the Linga Yoni, and a spire shaped like Mount Kailash, all intricately carved from a single rock. Additional shrines carved from the same rock are dedicated to various deities including Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, and 10 avatars of Vishnu. Vedic gods and goddesses such as Indra, Agni, Vayu, Surya, and Usha, as well as non Vedic deities like Ganesha, half Shiva, half Parvati, Harihara, half Shiva, half Vishnu, Annapurna, Durga, and others. The basement level of the temple showcases an array of Shaiva, Vaishnava, and Shakti works, with notable carvings depicting the 12 episodes from the childhood of Krishna, an important theme in Vaishnavism. This freestanding multi-level temple complex covers an area twice the size of Parthenon in Athens, requiring the removal of an estimate 3 million cubic feet of stone, weighing around 200,000 tons during its excavation, attributed to the Rashtrakuta King Krishna I. The temple also exhibits elements of Pallava architecture. An image of Shiva's mount, Nandi, stands on a porch in front of the temple. Rows of carvings depicting the Mahabharata and the Ramayana on the south side adorn two walls in the main temple. The Kailasa temple is regarded as a highly notable example of temple construction from the first millennium in Indian history and has been described by Caramel Bergson as a wonder of the world among rock-cut monuments. Cave 30, Chota Kailasa, also known as the Little Kailasa, earns its name due to its resemblance to the carvings in the larger Kailasa temple. This temple likely dates back to the early 9th century, created concurrently with the construction of the lower level of the Indra Sabha and some decades after the completion of the Kailasa temple. The Chota Kailasa features two larger-than-life size reliefs of dancing Indra, one with 8 arms and another with 12, both adorned with ornaments and a crown. Notably, the mudra of Indra in these reliefs resemble those found in depiction of dancing Shiva in nearby Hindu caves. However, there are several iconographic differences that identify the subject as a dancing Indra rather than Shiva. The entrance panels also showcase other deities, celestials, musicians, and dancers. Art historian Lisa Owen has raised questions about the presence of music and dance in 9th century Jainism, given that Jain theology traditionally emphasizes meditative asceticism. The Cave 30 might have originally been a Hindu monument, later converted into a Jain temple. However, Owen suggests that the festive artwork in the temple aligns more with the Samavasarana doctrine in Jainism. The overlapping theme between Jain and Hindu mythologies have caused some confusion, as Book 3 of the Hindu Mahabharata describes Indra's abode as a place filled with various heroes, courtesans, and artisans within a paradise-like setting. Similar imagery found throughout Cave 30, reminiscent of Hindu caves, providing context to the temple. However, closer to the center of the temple, the symbolism is more in line with the fundamental principles of Jainism, featuring a greater prevalence of meditating images and jinas, the location where Jain devotees would perform their ritual.